Hi. Right, today I'm starting on making a wedding guest album. It's going to comprise of lots of little bits, and the way I thought I'd do it is, not that I have really thought, is I'd start off with the actual cards, because the size of these depends on the size of everything else in the album. So I've printed these out, and they're on 160 GSM cardstock. Obviously different thickness of cardstock will depend on how thick it is here. So, you know, I had to figure out what I was going to use first before I could make the covers and then think about the rest of the book. Right, so these cards are 5 by 2 3/4 inches, and they've just been printed out so they can be left on the table, so the wedding guests can just leave a message for the bride and groom, as it says, and then all stacked together and placed in these little booklets, which will be inside the main book. And I'm having 2, and one will open this way and one will open this way. So, and there are, I do believe, 40 pages here, double-sided, so that's 80 messages that can be written here and 80 on the other one. Anyway, so this is going to be all bound with ribbon eventually. She says hopefully. So, the spine area left on the card area, because obviously it needs to, when it goes in the book, it needs quite a good spine area there, quite a good hinge. It's 1.5 inches in from the spine edge. The holes I've punched in at 3/4 inch in from the edge and 1/2 inch down and 1/2 inch up. So that's where the holes are. Obviously you could do this, if you do it, completely differently. And it's scored in, from this edge, it's scored in at 1.25 inches, and then also at 1 3/8 inch, which takes me right up to the edge of the actual card bit here. And you need that extra bit, really, because with this many cards, when it starts folding up, you need that extra bit. So, on to the covers for these, and obviously I'm going to make this one, which will be on the right, and the one for the left is done opposite. So the spine for this, all the pieces are 3.25 inches high, so the spine is 3/4 inch wide, and that is to take into account how much space I'm going to need here. This is under 3/4 inch, it's about 1/2 inch, but I wanted that extra little bit, you know, because obviously pages can, as they get older, they don't lace flat, so I thought a little bit of extra room there would be good. So, that's the spine. The covers, because obviously when this lays in, you're going to need to open it, because this is going to be held together with ribbon. I've decided, rather than just score it, because this is really thin card, it's the back cover of a 12 by 12 paper pack that I had. So rather than just score it and fold it, I thought it would be better to have it in separate pieces. So each cover, front and back, is made up of 2 pieces. One is obviously 3.25 inches by 1.25 inches, and the second one is 3.25 inches by 4 1/8 inch, and you must leave that slight gap, very importantly, each side of the spine, and then a small gap that gives you a little bit of flexibility here. I've actually put mine together with duct tape in a blue, but the theme for this wedding is blue and gold. So now what I'm going to do is grab my duct tape again, and I'm going to go all the way around the edges. And because this is a really thin chipboard and it's not a very big piece, I'm not going to wrap it all in one. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay alongside, down, and fold that over quite tightly. And then actually, I'm just going to cut this first roughly, and then I'm going to cut off the excess here. Okay, same for the other long side. And once again, cut off that excess. Right, now to do each end. So I'm going to cut this straight across first, roughly. And I'm going to cut this roughly to the middle. Into a point. Now I'm going to lay the point right on the corner. So the point's lining up with the very corner of that bit there. I'm going to get my knife and very carefully, from where I can see where the edge is, just do a little bit of a line, and this will quite easily lift up because obviously it's been laid on top of more duct tape, so that comes off a bit easier. She says. That's better. I'm going to cut right the way through. Like that. Turn it over. From this side, cut it up that way, and then fold that down. So you get a nice neat edge. And then do the same to the other side. So line up where you want to make the cut, and then cut it. And as always, it is actually easier to cut it with the sticky side facing up if you're right-handed. I don't know if you're left-handed, I have no idea. It's not very straight there. Just tidy that up a little bit. And then, no, it's not better. Hold on. Can you see I've just got this little bit of overhang, and that's going to create some problems. It's going to look really untidy, so that's much better. You want to really get it as close to the edge as you can to keep it neat. Okay, so this is the outside, this is the inside. What I need to do now is line up one of the pages where I've already got the holes punched, and I want to take it just a tad, just a little bit away from the edge, and line it up top to bottom, nice and even, and then mark where the holes are going to be. Now I want to flip it over, remembering how far away I had from here, so that little bit, and I'm going to eyeball it on the other side. Sorry, it's not very clear, is it? Focus! Focus! So, I'm going to flip this over, centre it up, and then do the same here. Mark where I need to punch my holes. I'm really sorry this is not focusing very well. I don't know why. Focus. It focuses there. Okay, so I've marked the holes, and now I'm going to take my broken crocodile and punch the holes. You can see it's broken. My crocodile actually has no feet. Right, so then this goes together. Obviously you put ribbon through each of those holes, they come up through here and then through these holes, and tie a nice bow on this side. So you get one on one side and one on the other, like so. So that's going to be the basis of this whole album. But I thought I'd better show that bit first and explain how I did it, because obviously the size of these depends on everything else in the album, and they are obviously the most important part of a wedding guest album. So that's the first part, and I will now figure out the rest of it and what I'm going to do. But for now, that's it. See you soon.